Operations with fractions. So what we usually do when we are working with a new type of number, the same like decimals or natural numbers or like fractions in this case, we perform the basic operations that they are the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So in case we do either addition or subtraction and we have a common denominator, so the number at the bottom that's called denominator is the same, then there's not much thinking to be done because the answer is going to be over the common denominator. In this case, well, in both of those cases, it's going to be over 7. And then what you do, you just add the numerators if you have to do addition. So the result for this one is going to be 8 over 7. And then you subtract 5 minus 3. That's going to give you 2. 2 over 7. That's going to be the final answers. And then if you can simplify it further, you go ahead. But in this case, we cannot really simplify. If we do have to do a calculation with different denominators, like the one we have here with 2/3 plus 3/4, then the first step we need to do, we need to change so they can have a common denominator. And the best way to do that is by multiplying together the denominators and finding this way the common multiple. Not the lowest common multiple, but you shouldn't worry about that part because as long as you have a common multiple, then that's going to be okay. So if I multiply 3 times by 4, that means that 12 is one of the common multiples of 3 and 4. And then I can change both of those fractions that I have before as fractions over 12. Now, another way of doing that is by cross multiplying. So if you multiply that fraction by 4 and the other fraction by 3, right, the opposite denominators, then you're going to end up with 8 over 12 and 9 over 12. And now we can go as the previous step before, and that's going to give us an answer over 12, and that's going to give you a 17 over 12. Sometimes, because this is a top-heavy fraction, top-heavy means that the numerator is larger than the denominator, so we can end up writing as 12 over 12 plus 5 over 12, and that's going to become 1 and 5 over 12, and that's going to be a mixed number. I'm sure you've seen that before, but it's just not a bad thing to have a little bit of a reminder. In terms of multiplication of fractions, let's just make an example. Let's just say we want to find the quarter multiplied by 2/3. Then the way we calculate multiplication of fractions is by multiplying the top two numbers together, so 1 times 2, and then the bottom numbers together, 4 times 3, and that's going to give me 2 over 12. And this is the fraction that I can further cancel down because this 2 goes in 12 6 times, so divide both by 2. That's another way of thinking about it, which is the best way actually, because you do the same thing to both numbers. And you create the simplified answer of 1 over 6, which is the same, of course, with 2 over 12. Now, conceptually, you might just say, like, well, I don't quite understand why we're doing what we're doing. So let's just do a little drawing here. So quarter times 2/3, that means a quarter of 2/3. That's what it means. And if I was about to kind of like, just draw a shape to kind of work with it, let's just choose this rectangle and let's just split it into 3 different pieces. So each one of those is going to be a third. Let's just find a way to highlight that part maybe. So this is the 1/3 that I have, and let's take the first third. With the third third, I'm not even bothering at all. And then what a question was saying, it was saying like calculate the quarter of the 2/3. So what I should do, I should go here and split this into quarters. So from that third, I want the 1/4, and from the second third, I also want that 1/4. So that's going to give me in total 2 over 12 quarters altogether. And that's it.